Hi, welcome to part 7 of my evaluation of my FMP before I go. Right. Um, okay, so this scene I will be talking about is my freakout scene. Um, my freakout scene. Sorry, I just got a message. This was a very, very difficult scene to do. I'm just going to give a quick brief on what happens, then I'll tell you how I dealt with everything. So basically what happens was, you've got the corporal and you've got Harry. So you've got Matt and Chris. They're sitting in the barracks. Me and Nathan, we've just come back from a battle. Then we start having banter, having a laugh, talking about what's happening, seeing if the mails come in. And Nathan starts to have a smoke. And I start to have a smoke. Everyone starts to have a smoke. The sergeant, Micah, comes in. He has a smoke with us. And then Chris starts going on about a dream he had about Amber, where she's in a field in the moonlight, and then and that goes on for quite a bit. There's banter going on, people making jokes, and throwing Chris off every now and again, and then it gets to a very, very solemn bit where he asked Micah a serious question about what goes on, about what he's been seeing. And then after that is just a long pause of silence. And then Nathan breaks the tension with just another crack at another joke. And obviously a bit more banter goes on, starts to get a bit louder. Then only my character, because he's developed a severe case of PTSD by this point, hears a gunshot go off. So he turns around to see what it was, shakes it off, apprehensively joins back into the banter. Then they start to sing Vera Lynn's "We'll Meet Again," and then everyone starts singing it, getting all rowdy, getting really loud. I hear the gunshot again. It stands me up, stands my character up, and what happens is, at which point my character's assuming that the Germans are actually coming to invade our barracks. So I start tapping everyone. I start yelling at them to get ready. That they're coming. And then when I kneel down, I start to hear the sergeant Micah's voice in my head telling me to prepare. So I'm responding to that, even though he's not actually telling me it. And but it ends that with I get my gun out and I'm just ready to fight. I'm terrified, but I'm ready to fight. Then Micah just comes round, tries to calm me down. I point my gun on him. He grabs me, throws me on my chair, makes me let go of my gun, stands me up. I'm yelling at him. He's reciprocating. And then he eventually just slaps me across the face to knock me out of this hallucination. And then we're going back and forth. He's saying I'm scared, I'm saying I'm not. And it eventually just me exploding by just saying I am scared, just right in his face at the top of my voice. And then he eventually just tells me, now that you understand that, you can fix it, go, we'll talk about this later, blah, blah, blah. So overall, that was a hard scene to do because every time I did it, Gary always wanted me to go bigger. And it was very difficult for me because I was afraid of going too big and it looking ridiculous and not serious enough. I was afraid I'd look too pantomime. So what I did was, me and Micah would sometimes just run through it quickly. Most of the time, all of us would run through the whole banter side of it, because every time we ran it through during rehearsal, sometimes the banter would drop at some point, like someone would forget a line and the banter would drop. But otherwise, overall, I think we did very well with all of that. And I had to convey so many mixed emotions, like fear, sadness, anger, regret, guilt, like all of that all at once. Like, it almost tore me apart. Like, thinking about the character as a whole, you can imagine the amount of strain he went through for just those moments in general. And knowing that he has indeed become crazy. And now he knows that his sergeant and all his other uh all his other all the other lads in his platoon know as well. Which kind of just presents its own problems, because when people are considered crazy in the military, there are very severe consequences. Anyway, this is the end of part 7. I'd like to say that in part 8 I'll be going over 2 scenes which are pretty brief. But yeah, that will be part 8, and that will also be the finale of my evaluation.